Okay, so now we're going to factor the polynomials, which are just these expressions right here. So 4, 2 plus 12. So if we compare, 4 can be split into 2 and 2, and 12 can be divided by 2, and then again by 2, so 2 and 3. So if we want to highlight our greatest common factor, we have the 2's. So our greatest common half factor here is actually 4. Now, with the variable, we don't have a variable next to 12, so there is no common factor involving a variable. So if we were to just factor that out, inside the parentheses, we would have t plus 3. And this is what we have left over here. Now, we can verify this by just saying, what would be the opposite if we were to actually distribute? So if we distribute 4 into everything that is inside that parentheses, we go back to 4t plus 12. Same thing in example B. So we would look at what our common factor is, and this one's a little bit easier because we just had to look at whoever has the lowest exponent. In this case is y to the 4th power. So if we were to factor y to the 4th, we would actually be left with y to the 4th plus 1. And again, we can verify this by distributing and multiplying into everything. But the question, why did we go from y8 to y4th? Well, when you're factoring out, it's the same thing as dividing. So if we were to divide y4 by y4th, that's really the same thing. So we're this backwards, but if we were to divide y4th by y4th, that's the same thing. So it simplifies to 1. Now on the other side, we have y to the 8th power divided by y to the 4th power. Now when we're subtracting when we're dividing variables with the same base, we will subtract the exponents. So 8 minus 4 would give us y to the 4th power. And that is what we have inside the parentheses. So now moving on to one that's a little bit longer. In example 5, we have negative 8b6 plus 16b4 and negative 8b squared. So our common factor here, we could take out that negative, and our common factor here is 8, and then from the exponent side would be b squared. So if we factor that out, we would be left with b to the 4th power minus 2b to the 2nd power, and we would have a 1 at the end. And again, you can verify this by distributing into everything that is inside the parentheses.